I'm about to end this man's whole career.
There was another tweet that said, the Democratic Party is comprised of racist white liberals.
That is correct.
Am I a racist white liberal?
Well, let's go back. That you put on that the racism and the conversations that we have.
So you're saying I'm a racist?
You haven't let me finish my statement. You keep cutting me off.
Go ahead.
Okay. The emphasis that you place is always on having a discussion about race. Okay. You guys are insistent on having a conversation about race and telling us that we should see and implying that we should see race everywhere, and I don't agree with that. If you don't look at me according to the color of my skin, you would simply ask me how I thought that Trump was doing as a president. But instead, you try to drum up a conversation that's surrounded by race by asking me, are there enough black people in the White House?
You're bringing a whole group of young black leaders to the White House.
Color,
so clearly
I don't.
That's something that's important to you.
But why are you talking about?
Then why make it that you're going to bring young black leaders to the White House? I mean, this is sort of absurd.
Because the media, as in the whole.
What is good, y'all? So we got to talk about this clip, okay, that I stumbled upon with Candace Owens and Krystal Ball. So I had seen little snippets from this in the past, but I actually managed to find the entire thing. So I definitely wanted to react to this because there's a very interesting conversation here about liberals being racist without even realizing it. Fun fact, so it's between Candace Owens and Krystal Ball. For those who don't know Krystal Ball, she is one of the co-hosts of Breaking Points along with Cigar, and she used to be on The Hill as a co-host on The Hill, also with Cigar before she left to form Breaking Points. But interesting fact about Krystal Ball, she's actually married to the far leftist progressive Kyle Kulinski as well. I think I've done a reaction for one of his videos on this channel before. Now I'm pretty sure that Krystal is like more, I guess, like famous than Kyle Kulinski is, because Krystal's actually been on television like MSNBC and stuff like that, and I don't think Kyle really has. He certainly hasn't been an actual host on any of those. He's kind of just always been independent. But Kyle is an extreme far leftist progressive, whereas Krystal, at least here, was also kind of like that, but I think over time she's kind of mellowed out a bit. But without further ado, let's get into Krystal and see about this interaction where, in my opinion, Candace Owens completely obliterates Krystal like she does pretty much everybody she debates.
Bother you that there's no prominent African Americans in the White House itself? Do you think
Sure
that's
there
important?
is. Jaron, Dr. Ben Carson's part of the executive branch. That's not true. You know that's not true.
Well, within the White House itself.
Jaron is an executive with Jared Kushner.
What is his role?
He's a DAP, which is a Deputy Assistant to the President of the United States, which is a top tier. So that's not true. You know,
who are other individuals in the White House?
Well, I want to go back and
okay, so you name one is not enough. So she's like, well, there needs to be more.
The question. So one thing that we always speak when we speak to conservatives about is we have to stop believing in this illusion that because somebody is black, they represent my interests. We learned that lesson via Barack Obama. I mean, he was in the White House for 8 years and didn't do much for the black community. So I'm not interested in the color of people's skin. So I'm interested in what they do and what they accomplish.
I'm really interested in your perspective here. Yeah. So to you, having, like, you don't look at, you know, it is an administration that has more white men than past administrations have had. Yeah, but that doesn't bother you. You don't think that diversity is important?
This is the crazy thing, is we're supposed to basically not be racist, but they also want to diversify by picking people based off of skin color specifically, and noticing, well, there's too many white folks over here, so let's just put more black people. That doesn't make any sense, guys. What if they are ideologically opposed to what you believe? You still support them just because they're black? That sounds racist to me. It's real simple.
No, I think that we have to stop believing that diversity is the color of people's skin, because if you have, like, the Black Caucus, for example, which didn't stand up and applaud when Trump announced that we had the lowest ever unemployment in the black community, that's concerning to me. So a big part of the conversation that we open is in making people understand that that's an illusion that the left has sold, that somehow because somebody matches my skin color, because somebody matches my gender, they have my best interests at heart, and that is completely fallacious. Comfortably on the left anymore, because we are now being told what to think, how we have to think, who we have to love, who we have to hate, and that's not comfortable for anybody that's an artist. And their stranglehold on culture is really what Kanye is sort of taking a stab at. Now, I want to be clear, based off of my conversations with him, he's not a Republican, you know, and I think that that's an important thing to distinguish and to make clear, distinction to make, because in many ways I've said I'm not a Republican either, but he is a free thinker and he values ideas. And unfortunately, if you believe in the ability to think and to have a dialogue, that is a position that's on the right today.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, you're not allowed to have an opinion that is to the right of Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren or AOC, right? If you are any type of person that's in the middle. For example, if you disagree with men playing in women's sports that claim that they're transgender women, then you're considered some sort of Republican automatically. Fun fact, the labels that I have for this channel, with the exception of Black Anomaly, which I named myself, anyone who calls me a Republican, as an example, is a label that I've been branded with. It wasn't something that I like proudly started screaming from the rooftops. It just so happened that I thought that Joe Biden was the worst president in the history of the United States of America. And because of that take alone, I'm automatically a conservative. Or I didn't agree with vaccine mandates. Because of that, I'm some sort of radical, far-right, alt-right person. That's how far these people have gone. And I don't think they realize how crazy they've truly become.
So Candace, I do want to ask you about news of the day. Obviously, we have all these explosive devices that have been sent to prominent critics of this administration.
Right.
And in a tweet, you originally said you thought there was 0 chance conservatives sent bombs. I think you took that tweet down.
Yeah.
But you later added, it isn't conservatives that are chasing people down in offices and restaurants. It isn't conservatives that have weaponized sexual assault as a means to political gain. I stand by my opinion that when it comes to political violence, the left is the likely culprit.
That's correct. So we've seen that.
You think that it was
the
left or Democrats who sent these pipe bombs?
I think we're all entitled to have an opinion. We don't have any.
Well, look at where we're at today, right? We're at the place where there's still all these encampments, and when the police come to try to break the encampments up, then what are these progressive, far leftist, woke behind free Palestinian people do? They fight the police. So while you got this whole J6 narrative, now you got people all around the whole country. There's endless amounts of footage of a bunch of woke college kids beating up on cops. Where's all the outrage from that?
Facts surrounding this, and Twitter is a venue where you're allowed to express your opinions and beliefs. And
but just to be clear, so that's not based on any facts. That's just your
Of course, it couldn't possibly be based on facts. We don't have any evidence other than the fact that they're investigating it. But
I'll come to Candace's.
I do want to finish this by just saying that it is my belief, when you take a look at the conversation, the things that have gone on, and the increasing violence that's gone on, it has purely been a leftist tactic to stall things, delay the administration, and to fearmonger. So, as a matter of opinion, I do believe that when we get to the resolution, the bottom of this, and we do have facts, we're going to see that this is orchestrated by the left. But by no means is that opinion rooted in any proof, because we don't have anything yet to go off of.
I could certainly point to Charlottesville. I could point to other acts that happened. I could point to Dylan Roof. I mean, there's certainly acts of violence that have come from that.
But do you see how far back you have to go to do that?
Charlottesville?
Yeah. That's literally starting at the beginning of his administration. Look at all of the things that have gone on.
I don't want to have this debate, because ugliness can come from both sides.
No, I'm just saying that you brought it up.
But I do want to ask you, though.
I'm just answering the question.
See, Krystal, she's trying. This is a classic tactic you see from the liberal media. Basically, they'll try to make the final point to kind of put a nail in the coffin in the conversation, and then try to change the subject so that you can't respond to the last thing that they said. No matter how absurd the thing that they said was, they'll try to change the subject so they can look like they were effectively victorious. Nah, Krystal, let her speak for herself and answer the questions and answer the topics that you're raising. If she starts to stutter and stumble and mumble and bumble, then that's on Candace. But if you just try to change the subject, you look disingenuous.
You've got a big platform.
I do.
Right? And you have a powerful voice.
Thank you.
And kudos to you for creating that.
Thank you.
How do you view the responsibility that comes with that?
I view the responsibility of just being a person that maintains my ability to have an opinion. I express an opinion, and no means that I say that I have just found the facts and this is related.
Yeah.
And I always reserve the right.
You said there's 0% chance.
Yeah. I said I'm going to go out and say that there is a 0% chance that this was sent by conservatives. I find all the things that are going on, the caravan of illegals, the packages that are being sent, Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation.
And just to clarify, you think the caravan too was organized by Democrats?
I find it to be incredibly suspicious timing to know that they are meant to get to the border on the day of the election. Again, this is not rooted in fact, but you do have to understand I am very much entitled to my opinion, and Twitter is my platform.
Candace, I have one more.
Just one more here, because I wanted to get to know you before you came on.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested in your perspective, because
sure.
I think you're a fascinating person.
Thank you.
There was another tweet that said, the Democratic Party is comprised of racist white liberals.
That is correct.
Am I a racist white liberal?
Well, let's go back. And let's say, I will say this, that many people in the party are not aware of their own racism. Let's go back to an early part of this conversation where you said to me, are you concerned about the color in the White House? Why would you ask me that question?
Because you speak about black issues.
No, but why would you ask me? But let's get to really the nucleus.
It's because you black, Candace. She's like, wait a minute. You black and you don't want to see more black people up in there? She's like, Candace, you need to be more racist. This is what the liberals actually want. They want you to be more racist and just want, if you're black, you need to want more black people up in there. It don't matter if they have the skills and qualifications. It doesn't matter if they agree with you ideologically. It doesn't matter. Presumably, all black people should think the same. And therefore, if other black people are in the White House, then everybody's going to be the same. It's going to be a big black people kumbaya cookout, barbecue. Okay, that's what they think. Okay, but the fact of the matter is everybody doesn't agree ideologically, which is one of the reasons why, for example, this channel exists, why people like Candace Owens and various others that are black and have a different point of view exists. It's because we don't all think the same. And the people who do think similarly to us that we feel like are furthering our agenda and the way that we think the country should be ran, the way the culture war should go, those are the people who we support, not just people who look more similar to us in terms of skin complexion.
So why did you ask me that question today?
Because I'm
why did you feel that I needed to be
perspective.
concerned about that?
Because you're bringing a whole group of young African-American leaders to the White House.
Okay, so this is something that I talk about often, is that in many ways, white liberals don't realize that you put on that, the racism and the conversations that we have.
So you're saying I'm a racist?
You haven't let me finish my statement. You keep cutting me off.
Go ahead.
Okay? The emphasis that you place is always on having a discussion about race, okay? You guys are insistent on having a conversation about race and telling us that we should see, and implying that we should see race everywhere, and I don't agree with that. If you don't look at me according to the color of my skin, you would simply ask me how I thought that Trump was doing as a president. But instead, you try to drum up a conversation that's surrounded by race by asking me, are there enough black people in the White House?
You're bringing a whole group of young black leaders to the White House.
Color,
so clearly
I don't.
That's something that's important to you.
But why are you talking about?
Then why make it that you're going to bring young black leaders to the White House? I mean, this is sort of absurd.
Because the media, as in the whole.
This is absurd. You're bringing this group to the White House.
It's not absurd. I'm making perfect sense. You're just not following the logic.
I just want to be clear.
Yeah.
I just want to be clear.
I'm trying to be extremely clear with you.
I know.
Bringing the black conservatives to the White House.
But you view me as a racist white
I think
liberal.
that you're not. First off, you put those words in my mouth, and you keep saying it. So
I'm not.
I said that the Democrat Party is comprised of racist white liberals. Is every person in the party racist? No, but you're not aware of the fact that you put these racist tones out into the media. This is why we have to bring the black conservatives to the president, because you create a narrative when you're on TV like you did today.
Are you comfortable with? I'm going to have you on radio later because I have questions for you as well. But we actually have to get out of the segment now.
Do you think that language is helpful, though? I mean, just in terms of the national conversation.
I could ask you, do you think it's helpful to ask me, just because I'm a black woman, if I'm comfortable with the amount of color that's on the administration? Do you think that that's helpful?
I think it's helpful and interesting to know your perspective.
It's not. It's you just trying to create an undertone that Donald Trump is racist, and it's wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
to me is the reason why.
Listen, no.
I just want to say,
you're looking at me on the basis of my skin color and making a bunch of, making a bunch of deductions. I did not. You said that, and we can run the tape back.
I want to say,
look,
that. Here's what I want to say.
You quoted a tweet, and then you made it about you.
I appreciate.
You were not added, but you were not added in that tweet. So do not say that I called you that, because that's dishonest. And we are on, on TV. So you can run. Okay, so I did not call you a racist. You're using the typical leftist tactic of trying to make yourself a victim, which is not something that I will accept.
No, but we're actually well beyond time.
Well, she's making herself a victim and pretending that I came here and called her a racist. So this is a typical leftist tactic.
That we not demonize our opponents.
And I think it's important that you not demonize my president.
And one thing that I try very hard to do is to criticize the policies and criticize people who are in positions.
She just literally brought up, so there was literally no policies that were brought up here. Okay, there was no policies that were brought up. Instead, she criticized the whiteness of the White House. Okay, so for those who may be a little slow in the uptick, they're talking about during Donald Trump's administration. Okay, so this was a couple years ago. And she's basically saying that it was too white in the White House. Candace Owens is saying, well, she doesn't have a problem with it because they ideologically agree for the most part. and now she's trying to say that she talked about policy. Where did y'all hear her bring up policy? If I missed it, let me know in the comments, but I didn't hear a damn thing.
And I'm not sure how you were doing that by pointing out the color in the administration.
But not to criticize the people who support the president.
You literally spoke about
something I
skin
try
color,
very hard to do.
but you're not doing a very good job of it.
I think it's really important.
I think it's really important that you be aware that just because I'm a black woman, you don't need to ask me a question as basic enough as saying how much color is in the administration.
To demonize our fellow
I
Americans?
think what's problematic is that you are creating a simulation that is dishonest, that is accusing our president of being racist based off of the color of the people that are in the. That's exactly what you asked me a question. That's what you implied.
Okay, I actually really appreciate you two coming in very much, and I look forward to getting to ask you some questions of my own at some point later on. And we're going to have to end the segment there. But thank you, and good luck at the White House today, and thank you for bringing young African American leaders into D.C.
Thank you.
Maybe I'll see you guys later on there. The devices sent all.
Look at Krystal's face. She's pissed. She's angry as hell, man. It's hilarious. Krystal looked like she about to cry. Like they were having an insane cat fight. I actually had never seen this full clip before. This is way more intense than like all of those broken down clips from before. So this is freaking crazy. But she's trying to be totally disingenuous here and trying to twist things around because basically when she's losing, instead of, well, she can't say Candace Owens is like racist against white people, obviously, so that doesn't work. So instead she's like, you called me a racist, clutching my pearls. Like she's basically acting like a little P word because Candace Owens is calling a spade effectively. I will say that Candace Owens was a bit disingenuous because basically she was really calling Krystal a racist. She just didn't actually call her a racist, but in so many words, she basically was saying that because Krystal, at least in this clip, and at least in her way of thinking that a lot of liberals have, they are racist because they believe that if you are of a certain ilk, like if you are black or Native American or, you know, just kind of some sort of group that is generally considered to be lesser or struggling socioeconomically, that you are therefore supposed to support the Democrats. And if you don't do that for any reason, even if it's not supporting just one policy, one or two, then you're automatically labeled as some sort of right-wing conservative radical lunatic. That's what these people do. And like you're a sellout to your community. They're gonna revoke your black card, right? That's how these people are, and it is ridiculous. Candace Owens just pointing this out clear as day, and it really seems like Krystal, at least at the time, had never really conceived this, because you heard her earlier, she said it was absurd. She just didn't understand it. It was not computing. She was having a glitch, right? She didn't get it, right? But I think most of you guys watching obviously get it. So, I mean, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Maybe some of you agree with Krystal. Okay, I used to actually watch her. That's fun fact. Another fun fact, that's one of the reasons why I'm no longer like really a leftist, because I used to be, for those who don't know, but it's because I actually used to watch Krystal and Cigar on the Hill, and I was like, man, this lady seems like she's kind of crazy. Like Cigar was kind of more mellowed out, and he still is. Krystal's still kind of like that. Once she feels like she's right, she just like she acts like a freaking animal when she feels like she is correct about what she's saying. But anyway, guys, let me know what y'all think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate y'all watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
I think what's problematic is that you are creating a simulation that is dishonest, that is accusing our president of being racist based off of the color of the people that are in the. That's exactly what you asked.
Gotcha, bitch.